And let's invite onto the stage Maxim Gouachan.
I'm so excited to be at Unleash 2017. I think actually I will divide you into 3 groups. You will be group number 1, you will be group number 2, all of you, and you will be group number 3, okay? Group number 1, are you ready to have a great time at Unleash? Let's hear it. Yeah! Group number 2, are you ready to have a great time at Unleash? Group number 3, are you ready to have a great time at Unleash? Nice, oh my god, that's so cool. If somebody can come with a clicker, I can get started with that, the only thing I forgot today. And gracias. All right, guys, we have 20 exciting minutes ahead of us. So let's just get started. If this can work, that would be also very convenient. All right, so we're going to talk about, while we fix this, we're going to talk about 3 things. First, I want to talk about how is it to actually be an entrepreneur? How is the actual entrepreneur day-to-day life? Then we're going to talk about how can you go from having one idea in your head into actually be working on your first startup. And then at the end, conveniently this slide, I'll give some startup life advice that I wish I had got when I was starting up 5 years ago. All right, so if we can just get this presentation. Oh, nice. All right, so a little bit about myself. When I was 16, I was super tired of school. So I decided to go 1 year on a boat college, where you live on a boat and you travel around the world. Seems like an epic idea, right? Until the first trip. I found out I become seasick. So I stayed there for 1 year, and then I was 1 year at oil and gas school, where I dropped out to do my first startup in oil and gas. And then I dropped my iPhone. Does anyone here have iPhone or Samsung? Yeah, I guess most people. And I couldn't find anywhere where I could get it repaired with great service and great price. So I thought, hey, I want a free repair. So I opened up 6 offices, and then we sold that 2 years later. And then I was looking for a new office space. And I couldn't find a cool office space in Stavanger. So me and 3 friends, we opened up one of Norway's biggest co-working space, Mess in Order. And it was really cool, nominated Best Office in Norway 2015. And then I wanted to learn more about design. And I couldn't get into university because I don't have any degree. So I found 3 guys who had a design and marketing degree, and we started a design company. It was really cool. First month, we had customers for $100,000, really fun. And then I started to travel. On my travels, I always like coffee meetings. So I thought, I like to travel to London, I like coffee, so why don't do a coffee shop in London, right? So now I had free coffee too when I was traveling around. Really cool. and then you get hooked. I have free coffee, what more can I get for free, right? So I went back to Norway, and 2 months ago I opened up 2 restaurants and 1 food truck with sushi and soup, so now I have free sushi too. So yeah, I don't pay for anything, guys. Really cool feeling. So that's been my last 5 years. All right, so how is it to actually be an entrepreneur? We all have different perceptions on how the reality is. I want to talk about the perception first, then how it really is, and then the reward. So, you know, I think I do one thing, my mom thinks another thing, my friends a third thing. Often we read about entrepreneurs, and we see them having fun, you know, spending lots of money, take vacation whenever you want because you are your own boss. You know, friends, amigos calling like, hey, let's go to Malaga, and I'm like, I can't, and they're like, no, you can, you are your own boss, and I'm like, you can't. Cool lifestyles, you have a lot of fun doing it, and so for some reason, if you get an idea, dreams can come true, right? As long as you have one good idea, you can just make it happen, right? So, how it really is. Let's look at the money part first. When you're an entrepreneur, you kind of have to go all into it. And you have to give up all luxuries. And when I say luxury and entrepreneur, I mean going to the movies with your girlfriend, to the cinema, going to a restaurant with your friends, order takeaway food, go bowling. We'll actually get back to bowling later. It's going to be cool. All those kind of luxuries, you have to give up, and you just have to go all in to make it happen. And I see a lot of young people, especially in Norway, struggling with that because we have such a high living standard. It's very hard to give up those things you really love to do on your spare time. And then you have investors who don't want to give you money. You have to pitching all the time. I actually pitched one to Toby Maguire in LA. But you're always kind of chasing money. You're always trying to raise the cash. And then what's really cool is that when you get your first customer, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, but it's like the best feeling ever. So you have an education and you get your first salary, or you get your first customer, and your idea doesn't suck. That's like the best feeling ever. Okay, how it really is with time. This is a screenshot from my calendar. It's basically Monday, 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 and more Mondays. So you just have to love Mondays. Yeah, and beer, Heineken. And you kind of hear all these entrepreneurs talking about it's so much hard work, it's so much hard work, but they say it because it actually is. My last 6 weeks has been maybe 80 to 100 hours a week. We get to the kitchen at 4 or 5. If it's catering, we're there at 3. And then we're at the kitchen to 12 o'clock in the evening. And in the midday, we're opening up, we're building, we're construction, we're selling. So it's literally 80 to 100 hours a week. But we get back to why that's good later. Lifestyle. Like, this is a very good one. Here's where I put my Tesla, if I had one. Again, you kind of have to sacrifice all the good stuff, just a short period of time to make it happen. You have to take care of yourself. You have to have a girlfriend or a mother who will say, Max, you have to go to the hairdresser. So yeah, sometimes you get too enthusiastic about stuff. Another thing is that very few people become entrepreneurs. And those who don't will always find a reason why you will not succeed. And you just have to make my best advice is to make a mental shield around you and just take the opinions of people who matter the most. Like for me, that's my family, it's my co-founders, it's our investor, and it's my mentor. What they say matter, but if you come to me and say, like, Max, you suck, you're gonna fail, like, I don't care, you know? So, so yeah, you just don't think about that, because most likely it's going to work out. And then it's easy to get enthusiastic. That we managed to open up almost 2 restaurants now and 1 food truck in 3 months. I could never have done that 5 years ago. It took 5 years to be able to do it in 2-3 months. Everything just takes time. But the more you do it, the more you try, the more you fail, the more you learn. Every project you start will just get much quicker, much better, much faster. But at the end of the day, it just takes a lot of time. It takes many years. Just like any athlete or creative person, whatever. It's just going to take a lot of time. Then you have the reward, which I find very cool. First, you can choose the people you're going to work with. You're going to spend, me and the chef at the Wrap and Roll startup, we live together. So when we eat breakfast, we discuss the day. When we go to bed, we discuss what went well, what went good, what's the plan for the next day. So I remember my girlfriend came into the living room 2 in the evening, and she's like, you have to go to bed now. And we're like, yeah, soon, right? So, but you can choose the people you're going to work with. And that's a very, very cool reward. Second of all, the feeling once you worked on something, and you launch it and it works, the feeling of launching, for me, is very, very exciting. I remember our first food truck day, when we sold our first sushi roll. This German tourist come, and he bought one, and we were like, oh my God. We made 4 euros. Oh my God, we were almost jumping. And then he come back 30 minutes later. I was like, oh no, something's wrong. And it's like, 1 more. And we're like, even more, So when you launch a startup, it's an epic feeling. Then you get the chance to meet a lot of cool people, travel around, like this festival, really, really cool, meet cool people. This, I have a coffee with Prince of Norway. He invited me for coffee, and I was like, okay, I come, free coffee. And last of all, um, you get a chance to build something that is bigger than yourself. That, for me, it's a very cool feeling. All right, thank you. Then let's look at how to actually be starting up. How are we on time? Good? Yeah. If I go over time, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'm not invited next year. Let's just go. All right. I usually divide startups into 3 different categories. It's service category. This is where you want to start up, say, a hairdresser, a coffee shop, a pub, a sandwich bar, etc. I would say this. Try to start small. Like, when I did the first iPhone repair, it was in my kitchen to my parents. Then I got many orders, and we moved into a basement of a friend of mine. And then we hired our first guy, and his apartment was really cool. So we said, like, we're going to move our shop to your apartment. And he said, OK. And then we launched our first, like, real store. And once that store was working, then we moved super fast. I was on one new airplane every 3rd week, and we just opened, and we just opened, and we just opened. But it all starts very small. If you have an ambition, and you're going to wait and wait and wait to start because it's so hard, I say the most important thing is to just get that little start, get that first customer, and then you're onto it. The second thing is to innovate on service. I always like to find concepts, take them maybe to Scandinavia, but do my twist on them. For example, when we did this, we had online booking, we had great coffee, we had leather couches, we had great music, and we also had a huge screen TV. And that TV was connected to where the iPhones was fixed, so you could see live your repair in a beautiful couch. So everything was something people started to talk about. So I would say always innovate on service. Another thing is to try to find the right partners. In London, I partnered up with a camera shop called Leica and another coffee shop, so that we could move super quick. So if you have a startup, think about who can you partner with to make it go much more faster? Who will benefit from your idea? All right, so that's the service industry. Then you have this like big poco loco ideas, like you say, I'm going to cure cancer, or I'm going to cure this, and I'm going to invent this. I would propose to go this route. First, you sit down and do a strategy. What am I going to do? And say, for example, what's your name? Nice to meet you. OK, Beatrice, say, for example, you have a new idea to make electrical batteries much better in electrical cars. Your customers will be Tesla, Volkswagen, BMW. It's going to be a very long, hard run to get them. And you have 2 choices. You can work 3-5 years to make it happen, and then contact them, and they say, no, we have our own technology. Or you can spend 2-3 weeks prototyping, 2-3 weeks making a good presentation and protection. And then you can meet Tesla and say, hey, guys, I have this idea. If you use it in your cars, they will go 20% longer. If you pay me to develop this, you will have first right to buy it, right? Took you 6 weeks instead of 6 years, and you get an answer like this. That's the route you should go, I think, if you have like this big, crazy idea. And then you have the last, a corporate. It's kind of like if you want to have a design agency, or you want to do like a lawyer company or whatever. That's the easiest one. One sentence, what value are you creating, who are you creating it for, find a customer, and you sell it. It's not harder. I remember when we had the design agency, we sold like, I think 3 web pages for 10,000 euros, and we didn't have a web page ourselves. When customers asked, we said, hey, it's coming soon, right? So just get that first customer, and then you build it. But too many people do like this, right? So that's the 3 approaches you can do if you want to just get started with entrepreneurship. Last part, some advice. First, I would say, think about it as a project or a test. If you tell yourself, oh, we're going to build 40 restaurants and we're going to be in 20 countries, that's a little bit scary, even for me, right? If you say to yourself, oh, I have this food idea, let's test it out, see what people say. And if it works well here, we might test it out here, and we do test it out there. And that will make you feel calm. It won't stress you. It's just a small project, it's just a small test, which might lead to something great. So look at things as a project, or look at things as a test. Help you a lot mentally to not go poco loco. All right, second one. Look at life as bowling. I picked this up from Seth Godin, and I'm going to try to explain. If you go to the bowling alley and you buy 2 tickets, you will have 2 games, and every time you're going to be super careful, and you're going to try to just hit it and just make it right. But what would happen if you go there and the owner says, you know what? You will have unlimited bowling for the rest of your life. What would you do then? You might try a spin, you might try backwards, you might try a different direction. You wouldn't be afraid if this one time didn't work out, because you have unlimited bowling. And that's the age and place where we live now. We have access to go unlimited bowling with our lives. It's never been a better time in history to try out something you're passionate about. You really have unlimited of chances. So there's absolutely no reason why to not go for it. Thank you. Then this one. This helps me a lot. I use it on day-to-day basis. I use it month-to-month a lot. And the history is that a lion can, if it chooses to, it will be able to catch a mouse if it really wants to do it. But the energy and time it will spend on catching that mouse will make it die because it loses all the energy. But if a lion chooses to catch an antelope, it will get more powers and can do more greater stuff. So sometimes just pause, take a step back, and ask, who am I chasing now? Am I chasing the mouse, or am I chasing the antelope? And then do the changes needed to reach the goal you set yourself. And finally, look at business as the ultimate sport. There's no off seasons. There's always a time for a workout, and you can always get better. Like, who's the best football player in Madrid? Okay, let's say Ronaldo. Let's say Ronaldo, Barcelona. So Ronaldo, like, if Ronaldo go for a morning jog at 4 in the morning, he doesn't seem that hassle. He's chosen to do it, and he wants to improve. If we get up early to work in the kitchen, or if I get up early to read on business, it's just me perfecting my sport, which is business, right? So just look at business as the ultimate sport, where you can always improve and you can always have fun. And then it suddenly not work. You're doing a sport. And you save money on the gym too. So yeah, that's I think that's the last advice I want to give out before we jump on to questions. I'm at Snapchat, Instagram. Any questions, anything, please email me. I'd be more than happy to help and answer those. Thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing. I don't see you without glasses, so 1 second. Okay, yeah. So, to start the projects. For the first projects, we always try to bootstrap it. And by that sense is that I used my money that I own from delivering newspapers. I invested into a motorbike. I repaired the motorbike, I sold that. And after that, I could buy in 10 iPhone screens, for example, say the iPhone repair shop. So it's always like I've been trying to get to a stage where your project looks interesting to an investor. So you have to grind out first, and then, like when we met the investor for the iPhone repair shop, we had already 5-6 shops, but we didn't have money to have inventory. So it was a very easy investment case. 6 shops, long queues, nothing to repair with. Okay, right? So try to see if you can get the money first yourself and make yourself attractive to an investor. For the sushi startup now, we had a track record as a team, and from that, the investor believed in us, so we managed to get that off pretty quickly. Okay. Okay, how do you balance both your personal and professional life? I don't have a personal life, okay. Did you have to give up anything? For example, my little brother always helps me out in the food truck, and he works in one of our stores. My girlfriend always helps out. Our chef partner's girlfriend always helps out. My family always helps out. So my family time is when we do the startup. So that is my personal life. Did I have to sacrifice? Yeah, a little bit. But then again, sometimes a year you go to Unleash, you have some fun, take some beers, and that's enough for me. Okay. What's the next thing you want to get for free? Good question, good question. Maybe something like a car, but I don't know. If I can buy a car and rent it out, and it will be free, that would be cool. Okay. Are there any key requirements for you when choosing who becomes part of your team? Very, very good question. You very easily find out if the person has a passion for it, if he wants to do the 80-hour week with you, if he really, really wants to commit to that. So choosing the team, the number one rule I have is they have to be much better than me. And that's not hard at all for me to find, so that's easy to find teammates. But I always only hire people who are better than me, because then we get a society at work where we all only get better and better and better and better people. That's the requirement there. All right. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of regretting things. That's my... That is the biggest fear. I don't want to like, oh, I didn't do that, right? So, right. Do you have any questions from the audience, or we can start here? Beatrice, was it? Yes. I do study. I'm at School of Life. It's full-time studies. I don't get student discounts, and I have to buy all my books myself. But yeah, I'm still studying and still learning every day. Thank you. Thanks. Up here.
I have like 2 questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, do you believe like in the regular education that we are right now, like university and all kind of stuff? And the second question is, why you say that the biggest thing for you is like you don't want to have a grade?
Yeah. Yeah, let's just repeat those two. Very good questions.
Okay, like the first question is, do you believe in the regular education that we are? Like myself, I went to a private university because I think that was the best way to have a job. But after, I knew that the best way is to be like study by myself. That's one question. And the second question is, why you really care about regret?
Yeah, okay. So the education question first. You know, for me, personally, I think it's very scary to have a master's degree. Just because I have a lot of friends, Norway, UK, everywhere, who are super talented people, have gone to super great schools, and have a master's degree, and they're still looking for a job. And I'm like, isn't that scary? Right? For me, that's super scary to be in that situation. Like, I'm in charge of my own destiny and my own job, so I have a job anywhere, right? So, but I think, like, education-wise, it's getting better, but it's far from where it should be. Like, it's not more entrepreneurial, it's much more creative in the schools today. I think it's far away. It's like 100 years old format, which should have been somehow better, right? The second question about regret is just because I'm 23 now, and I have maybe like 50, 40, 60 years left, I don't know. And it goes like this, you know, and I know one day I'm gone, and I don't want to, like, the last day before I'm gone, I don't want to sit and like, why did I do that? Right. Yeah, one life, one chance. Do you have time for Easter question?
I have a question.
Hey.
Hi. How did you?
I'm not single, sorry. Just kidding.
How did you promote the services, like the marketing part?
The marketing part. I believe if you make a really, really great product, people will talk about it. So I'm not using traditional marketing things. I like to get, for example, I'm very against food waste. You know, I'm at the kitchen from 4 in the morning, we make great food, and one throw it away. So we have half price on everything every day before we close 30 minutes. And we got all the news channels and newspapers to talk about that. So boom, people are coming and talking about that's the new place that's against food waste. So I could never buy an ad in a newspaper or something like that. It's always try to be creative and use your story and try to bring it out to the people. And people tell stories. Give them a story to tell and give them something to talk about. And then you have almost free marketing, right? Thanks.